The Australian dream is changing, but the tax code hasn't quite kept up with those of us who want out of the rat race early. If you're sitting there in 2026, looking at your bank account and wondering why a six-figure salary feels like you're just treading water, you aren't alone. We've reached a point where the traditional advice, save hard, put it in super, and wait until you're 60, is actually a recipe for a restricted life. If your goal is to retire at 45 or 50, you have a massive problem that most financial advisors won't lead with, the preservation gap. In 2026, the gap between when you want to stop working and when the government lets you touch your superannuation is your biggest financial risk. If you retire at 45, you have 15 years where you need to live, eat, and travel without touching a cent of your retirement fund. If you haven't built a bridge portfolio specifically designed to be tax efficient in this 2026 landscape, the taxman is going to take a 47% bite out of your exit strategy. Let's talk about the first pillar of the 2026 tax strategy, debt recycling. Most Australians are terrified of debt, but early retirees view it as a tool. In a high-interest environment, your non-deductible mortgage is a weight around your neck. Debt recycling is the process of paying down that home loan and immediately redrawing those funds to invest in income-producing assets, like a diversified ETF. Why does this matter for your 2026 retirement? Because suddenly, the interest on that debt becomes tax-deductible. You are effectively converting bad debt into a tax-deductible wealth engine. For a high-income earner, this can reduce your taxable income by thousands every single year, while simultaneously building the bridge you'll need to live off before age 60. But we have to look deeper at the 2026 changes to the Stage 3 tax cuts. While they provided some relief, they also shifted the brackets in a way that makes bracket creep a silent killer for the middle class. If you're earning between $150,000 and $200,000, you are in the crosshairs. This is where the investment bond comes into play. In the past, people ignored these, but in 2026, they are the secret weapon for early retirement. An investment bond is a tax-paid structure. The provider pays a maximum of 30% tax on the earnings inside the bond. If you hold that bond for 10 years, following the 125% rule, every dollar you take out after that decade is completely tax-free in your hands. Think about that for a second. You spend your final 10 years of work funneling money into a bond where the tax is capped at 30%, lower than your personal marginal rate, and then, the moment you decide to quit, you have a tax-free income stream to carry you until your super unlocks. This is how you beat the 2026 retirement trap. You aren't just saving. You're placing your capital in structures that the ATO cannot touch once you stop earning a salary. However, many Australians fall into the dividend trap. In 2026, with the ATO cracking down on franking credit refunds and high-growth tech stocks dominating the market, chasing high-yield dividends might actually be hurting your early retirement chances. Every time you receive a dividend, it's added to your taxable income for that year. If you're still working, you're paying your highest marginal tax rate on those dividends. For an early retiree, capital growth is often superior. You want assets that grow in value without triggering a tax event until you choose to sell them, ideally in a year when your income is zero, allowing you to utilize the 50% capital gains tax discount and your tax-free threshold to exit with almost no tax paid. This is the mindset shift required for 2026. You are no longer just an employee. You are a tax strategist. Every dollar you earn needs a destination that considers three things: accessibility, tax drag, and the 10-year horizon. If you don't have a plan for all three, you aren't retiring early, you're just taking an expensive break.